Is Master Chief the last Spartan? That's not the right question. How many Spartans have there ever been?
True.
No, that's not the right question either.
Well, I mean...
How many Spartans are left? I don't mean tentatively, accurately. How many Spartans do we know are still active? Now that's a question worth exploring. Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and today we're going to try to answer the question, how many Spartans are actually left after the fall of the Infinity, the created conflict, the fall of Laconia Station, and the events on Zeta Halo? Let's quickly recap the Spartans. The Orions, retroactively named the Spartan Ones. Still heavily classified, only one known member. The Spartan 2s, originally planned for 300, downscaled to 150, downscaled again to 75, and only 34 survived the augmentation procedures, with the rest being put into cryo to be revived hopefully at a later date. The Spartan 3s, the disposable Spartans, at least that's how they were coined. 300 Spartans per class, and at least 3 classes were established, with both the Alpha and Beta classes having a near 100% mortality rate when they were sent on their final suicide missions. But we still have surviving Spartans from both classes and Gamma Company. The Spartan 4s, a return to form, whereby fully grown consenting adults are turned into Spartans. Many ODSTs became Spartan 4s. Many exemplary members from the rest of the armed forces became Spartan 4s. And the arrival of the Spartan 4 program greenlit the opportunity to create the Spartan branch, an entire arm of the UNSC military dedicated solely to Spartan operations. And since that day, the Spartan branch has only grown, with new recruits coming into the program, going through training, being augmented, and then being fielded with their own suits of Mjolnir-powered assault armor. It is therefore quite difficult to put an actual precise number on the quantity of still active Spartan super soldiers. Indeed, it's quite difficult to put a number on how many have ever existed. The numbers on the Orions are classified. Yes, we have the 34 that made it through the Spartan 2 augmentation procedures, but many were claimed to have been rehabilitated and fielded there afterwards, so it could be anywhere between 34 and 75, if we're not including the ones that went quote-unquote missing in action. 2 classes of Spartan 3s, 300 apiece, wiped out but ultimately did see active service. Gamma Company, another company of 300 Spartan 3s whom we can only assume have gone into active service. The Spartan 4s, arguably the most ethically and morally acceptable Spartan classes, still have relatively vague numbers on exactly how many of them there are, mainly because it's still classified. But how many Spartans have ever actually been fielded and saw active duty isn't the subject of today's video. We have to bear in mind that in Halo Infinite, we saw the Chief get tossed into the void. We saw Infinity, the home of a large portion of Spartans, fall. We saw Chief get recovered, and then during his mission on Zeta Halo, come across 2 KIA Spartans and a third who had been tortured for 3 months and whom died of his injuries moments after Chief released him. On top of that, we also see that Cortana destroyed Laconia Station, a training station for Spartans. So now the question has to be asked, is Master Chief, for the first time ever, truly the last Spartan? And yes, you did hear me right there, for the first time ever. He was called the last Spartan during the events of Installation 04 during Halo CE, because at that point all Spartans in active service were recalled to Reach to aid in the defense of the planet when it was attacked by the Covenant, and the Covenant didn't hold back. They glassed huge swathes of the surface of Reach, and only 2 Spartans were known to have actually gotten away from planet Reach when it fell, and they got away aboard the UNSC Pillar of Autumn. One of them was Linda, who had flatlined and been declared clinically dead during an operation on the UNSC circumference. Chief himself took her to the Pelican when she was dead and made sure she was loaded into a cryopod on the Pillar of Autumn in the hopes that she could be revived at a later date.
And she was.
But she was clinically dead. The only other Spartan that made it aboard the UNSC Pillar of Autumn was the Master Chief. And during this time he was believed to be the last Spartan. However, it turns out that there was the classified Spartan 3 program already in full swing, and there were still surviving Spartan 2s on the surface of Reach, as well as a few other Spartans who were deep behind enemy lines and too far away to be easily recalled for the defense of Reach. So while he was believed to be the last Spartan, he, in truth, never was. However, the way things are shaping up at the moment, it's easy to understand how Chief could be the last Spartan.
Yeah, it is.
As I briefly outlined in the introduction of this video, most Spartans of the Spartan branch were on board the UNSC Infinity when she arrived at Zeta Halo. We have no information as to the whereabouts or status of the UNSC Infinity, and she is presumed to have been destroyed. And as there have been no such reports from any UNSC forces on the surface of Zeta Halo suggesting to the presence of other Spartans, it can only be assumed that the Spartans fell with the Infinity, or shortly thereafter. Master Chief was beaten by Atriox and then tossed into the void, but it was ultimately recovered by Fernando Esparza 6 months later. During the elapse of those 6 months, it is known that only 4 Spartans were operational on the surface of Zeta Halo, being Spartans Thomas Horvath, Nina Coven, Bonita Stone, and Hudson Griffin.
I didn't know it was 6 months.
Nina Coven and Bonita Stone were found by the Master Chief himself, KIA, on the surface of Zeta Halo during his operations. And unfortunately, Spartan Hudson Griffin died in the Master Chief's arms after enduring months of torture and finally succumbing to his wounds. The only other location that was known to host large numbers of Spartans was that of Laconia Station, which had 76 Spartans still on board. Unfortunately, during the created conflict, the station's AI, Leonidas, sided with Cortana and destroyed the station, presumably killing everyone on board. The members of Blue Team were supposed to be with Chief when he went down to the surface of Zeta Halo to deploy the weapon. However, they were reassigned immediately before this mission, but it is unclear as to whether or not they actually got off of the Infinity before it was attacked and fell to the Banished. So it's entirely possible Blue Team fell with Infinity as well.
I don't think they
Fire
did.
Team Osiris was aboard the Infinity when it fell.
Really?
With indeed one of the Spartan killers apparently wielding Locke's helmet on his shoulder as a trophy. So as the numbers of potentially killed Spartans racks up, is Master Chief the only Spartan left? The simple answer to this is no. Obviously, from a narrative standpoint, it wouldn't make a lot of sense offing so many Spartans who have become fan favourites over the years, completely off screen with basically no dignity whatsoever. It's highly unlikely that Blue Team were killed in action. It's pretty unlikely that Fire Team Osiris were killed in action. It's relatively unlikely that all of the Spartans aboard the Infinity died aboard. So then you have to ask the question, okay, Chief isn't the only one left, so how many are left? And I don't mean tentatively, I don't mean, oh, they might be alive because of such and such, or they may have made it off the Infinity before this, that, and the other happened. No. Who is actually confirmed at still being alive during the current events of the Halo universe? How many Spartans are truly still alive? Well, straight away, the Master Chief, he's still active. Grey Team, the clandestine Spartan 2 team that were too far away to be easily recalled and operating behind enemy lines, are still out there somewhere on their Oni Prowler, wreaking havoc with any forces they come across. So Grey Team are still active. That brings the total to 4. The Spartans of Red Team aboard the Spirit of Fire are still active. These Spartans are interesting because they were some of the Spartans that actually failed in their augmentations and were put into cryosleep to be revived at a later date. These are rehabilitated Spartans.
Wow.
Yet they are now in active service aboard the Spirit of Fire. So, 3 more Spartans, that brings our total to 7. Spartan Olympia Vale, once a member of Fireteam Osiris, is still in active duty. Her services have recently taken her to Sanghelios and the planet of Netherop in a desperate clamber to find a Guardian-killing weapon. This was covered in the recent book, Halo Outcasts. She is still confirmed as being active. That brings our total to 8. Alpha
Yay.
9, the once ODST squad turned Spartan 4 Fireteam, are still active, minus the rookie who was killed on Draco 3 during a conflict and assault against the United Rebel Front, but in addition to Dutch's partner Gretchen, all of which have now become Spartan 4s. They are confirmed to still be in active service and on a classified only mission. That's another 4 Spartan 4s, bringing our total to 12. Naomi 010 is still in active service with Kilo 5, again on classified only missions, brings our total to 13. Spartans Jin and Eklund, who are currently serving at the Avery J. Johnson Academy of Military Science. And at this same academy we can confirm that Commander Agrina is still serving, alongside your own Spartan, and at least 6 others that were confirmed to have appeared in the opening cutscene of the Halo Infinite multiplayer, which brings our total to 22.
I mean, I didn't see that when I played
I'm
it.
confident with that number. There are perhaps a few stray Spartans that I may have missed or overlooked. Obviously, pop their names into the comment section below to correct me if you know otherwise, if you know factually that there are other Spartans that have been confirmed as still being in active service. But as far as I can make of it, there are 22 Spartans still serving.
Yay!
Which is better than none. It's better than just the Master Chief on his own. But when you consider that there have been at least some numbers thrown around amongst the community suggesting that there could have been just shy of around 3,000 Spartans over the entire duration of the Super Soldier programs, to now be left with just 22, that still puts humanity in a relatively grim position.
Yeah.
If there was ever a time to bring the ODSTs back, now might be the time. But when it comes to humanity's future and fighting against our extinction, let's be honest, we only really need the Chief.
Yeah! I loved that. And what the heck was that about the whole opening cutscene when you go into the multiplayer thing? I didn't get that. I re-downloaded Halo because I've been seeing a lot of people posting stuff about it, posting about the new maps, posting about the new season, and saying how that online is great and all this stuff, new maps. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna re-download it because I really want to play it. I got it on my PC, but I'm not great at those types of shooter games on my PC yet. I'm still kind of new to it, so I re-downloaded it on my Series S, and I've been playing the heck out of it here past like couple of days. I've been every spare moment I'm playing the online stuff because the new maps are great. The game types that they have on there is just, everything is just great. But I didn't have that little opening cutscene or whatever. I didn't get that, and I'm mad. But I do agree that if there was even remotely around this number of 3,000, or I think it said 3,000 Spartans at the beginning of everything, and now to only be left with 22, that is very terrible. I mean, I do agree. The only person that we really do need is the Chief. Only person we need. Only Spartan. But in the latest Halo game, going around finding those Spartans was like really sad, because like all throughout the Halo games, we've seen, and I'm talking about just the Spartans, we've seen, you know, how hard it is for the Spartans to be killed. I am excluding Reach from this because we all know that all the Spartans in Reach died, but in all of the other Halo games where we've seen more Spartans than just the Chief, it is harder to kill them. A lot harder. And especially in the earlier games, we kind of expected Spartans, I don't want to say expected. It felt like that the Spartans were untouchable. That nothing could kill them, nothing could knock them down. In Reach, that kind of got changed, of course. But we were like, okay, but the Chief is still like this. The Chief is unkillable. The Chief is untouchable. Which, yes, but there are other ways to more or less kill someone. Because in Halo 4, 5, and now 6, we have slowly seen the humanity side of Chief come out. And with the latest Halo game, you could tell that he was still like completely heartbroken over Cortana and all of these emotions that he shouldn't be feeling, that he is now feeling. And he is also going around this Zeta Halo, finding these audio logs of Marines and Spartans, of everybody being on here and fighting, and him actually finding the Spartans dead and finding the Spartan that was tortured and then dying in his arms. Like, that gotta be really hard for him. And you can tell that each time that he found a Spartan, it just weighed on him more and more.